this. For example, once you make enough money to keep the bill collectors at bay, so that's kind of lower, upper working class, say something like, even centrist working class, keep the bill collectors at bay. Additional money doesn't improve your quality of life. Other things do. So maybe it's a rational response when you're like 30. See, the irrational men, here's the irrational men. Maybe they drive the world, but they're the irrational men. More success is always better along this unidimensional axis of achievement. Well,
Gordon Gekko, greed is good.
Well, there's a tiny percentage of men who are hyper competitive along those single axes of competition. And maybe they drive most things. They probably do. But that doesn't make them right. It also doesn't make them most people.
And it doesn't make them happy.
Well, happy is a whole different issue, right?
But
That isn't what they're after.
It's a big part of it because everyone is, well, you are though. In pursuit of success, it's implied that happiness goes with that success. Otherwise, why the fuck are you doing it?
Yeah, well, domination, power,
But that
charisma, prestige. Well,
that's
yeah,
implied.
It is.
Success and happiness are they're inexorably connected in our perception.
Yeah, well, it's often a flawed equation. You know, like what happens, look, I worked in law firms, with law firms for a very long period of time, and I worked for lots of high-end women, lots of them, and they were usually extremely attractive, they were extremely intelligent, they were extremely driven, they were very, very conscientious. They varied in how agreeable they were. Some were disagreeable, litigator types, and some were more agreeable. They often had a harder time in the law firms. But the law firms lose all their women in the 30s. They all bail out at partner level.
A lot of them. We should say a lot
Jesus,
of them.
it's
a good percentage.
It's a huge percentage. And it isn't because the law firms don't want them. The law firms want them because you can't find people like that. They're really rare, especially if they're also rainmakers, if they can bring in money. So the law firms bend themselves over backwards trying to keep the women. They can't keep them. Why? Well, the women decide that, oh, I'm working 18 hours a day, flat out, all the time, 7 days a week. My husband makes a fair bit of money. If I made half as much money as I made, we'd still have plenty of money. Why am I working 18 hours a day? Well, that's not the question. The question is, why would anyone work 18 hours a day? That's the mystery. And the answer is, a small minority of men are driven to do that. And so they'll do that. No matter where you put these guys, that's what they do.
Yes.
Okay, but does that mean it's correct? I think there's something wrong with these women. They hit 30, they've hit partner, they've hit the pinnacle. I mean, they could keep going if they wanted to, but they've accomplished their goal. They've definitely shown, man, they're bloody well in the game. And they wake up at 30 and they think, oh, wait a minute. I want to have a relationship, and so I want to have some time to put into that. I'd like to have kids, and I'd actually like to see my kids. It's like, is that irrational?
This is another thing that you and I are in agreement on, but when I see people talk about the way you discuss women, they misrepresent what you're saying and paint you in what I think willfully paint you. They do it on purpose. They paint you as a misogynist. I don't understand why. I don't understand if it is because they disagree with you on things, so this is a convenient way to demonize your position by demonizing you as a human being.
Well, it's partly too because I've made the case that there are differences between men and women.
Yes.
But like why that isn't a feminist case is beyond me. It's like, no, they're exactly the same. It's like,
ridiculous.
No, they're not.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
And it's confusing.
Ridiculous.
It's confusing.
Yes. Purposefully confusing.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, the data are in. So look,